Hello, welcome back. In this video, I would like to address the use of Zotero to manage bibliographic information and copies of Adobe PDF files, and then also use that bibliographic data to create APA-style citations with their complementary references. I've opened the Google Scholar website. This site is available at scholar.google.com. It's a search engine in which academic papers that are publicly available, or for at least which bibliographic information is available. Now, I'm going to demonstrate searching for information about data security and adding the sources that I find to my Zotero database so that they're available to me even when I'm disconnected from the internet and wish to continue writing. So I'll keep all the bibliographic information as well as copies of the Adobe PDF files stored locally on my computer. Now, there's another benefit to using Zotero, and that is the ability to automatically back up the Zotero information to a cloud account at zotero.org, and then share that information with other people. For me, I don't generally share my research information, but I do open my Zotero database on multiple computers. And the nice part about having all the data stored in the cloud is regardless of which of my computers on which I open Zotero, the most recent version of the database information will be copied down to the computer. So let's get started with searching for information about data security. I'll type data security, click the search button, and I know from previous research that the Denning and Denning article that's listed first here is a seminal article. So I'd like to add that article's bibliographic information, and if possible, a PDF copy of the article directly into my Zotero database, so I can use that information, so I can cite that source when I'm writing an APA-style paper. So I'll click the link to display the article's web page. I can read the abstract to confirm that I'm looking at the correct article. And then in Firefox, because I've installed the Zotero add-in bar, I have a button that allows me to automatically capture this bibliographic information and save it into my Zotero database. That button here, it's saving automatically into my library, and it was able to capture a copy of the PDF file that accompanies this data. Now I'm going to change my screen so that you can see it more clearly, and I'm going to move to the Zotero application, and you see that the article has been saved here in my Zotero database. Now I have thousands, maybe 5,000 or 6,000 articles here in my Zotero database because I've been using this program for more than a decade. What I'm going to do is to take the article and put it in a temporary folder that I've named example. And so I just drag and drop it, and now it appears in this folder that's I'm going to use just for the purposes of this video. Now, notice I can see the title of the article and the authors. If I click on the name of the article, in the right-hand side, I see more bibliographic data. For example, Zotero identified this as a journal article, and that's correct. It has the title Data Security, but because I typically write my papers in APA style, I know that the title of the article should be written in sentence case. So I'll right-click and choose sentence case for the title, and now the D of data is capitalized and the S of security is not capitalized. This will become important when I go to create the references in my paper, because I don't want the article title prepared in title case. I want it in sentence case. Written by Denning, Dorothy E., and Denning, Peter J. Now, it is possible to combine these names and display them in a more common format, Dorothy E. Denning, but I prefer to keep them separated as single fields because it's just easier for me to keep track of my research if I see the surnames listed first. I see that it was published in the journal ACM Computing Surveys, Volume 11, Issue 3. It had the page numbers 227 up to 249. It was written on September the 1st, 1979. And it has a DOI. The Digital Object Identifier is important. If a DOI has been assigned for a source in APA style, we need to include the DOI in the reference entry. So I want to make sure that the DOI information is here in my Zotero database. Now, if I drop the arrow down underneath the title, I see that attached to this record in my Zotero database is a PDF file. And I can open that PDF file, read it, print it. The PDF is stored locally on my computer. And if I have annotation software, such as I want to highlight or underline here on my computer, any of those annotations will get saved into my version of the PDF, which is very useful because Zotero also has the ability to export anything that's been highlighted to a separate text file, which helps me when I'm writing my annotations for an annotated bibliography, or if I'm just keeping research notes elsewhere. And just to tease you a little bit, in future videos, I'll show you how I integrate my Zotero database along with the annotations in the PDFs I've collected, and view them and continue editing them on my iPad. For now, I'm going to return back to Microsoft Word. In this section of the video, I will show you how to integrate some of the bibliographic data from that Denning and Denning article into a Microsoft Word document. Now, I'll jump the screen and show you a zoom-in version of my Microsoft Word document. Now, granted, in an APA document, I would normally have a title page already created. I would have my headings entered. But for right now, I'm just going to show you that in any Microsoft Word document, I can insert citations and references, regardless of the formatting of the document. So, one of the things that I learned in reading the Denning and Denning article is that privacy concerns have plagued us for a long time. So, I'm going to write, and I remember that the Denning and Denning article was written in 1979. So, I could write the sentence, and here I'll just make the font a little bit larger so it's easier for you to see. So that's a statement using information that I got from the Denning and Denning article. And now I wish to insert a citation in APA style that identifies the article. So in Microsoft Word, I have a menu for Zotero because I've installed the Zotero add-in to Microsoft Word. I will add a citation in APA version 7 format to the Denning and Denning article. And it's titled Data Security. Enter. Now, that's a properly formatted APA style citation for author and a co-author, two authors, and the year in which the article was published. Now, at this point, I could continue typing my document. Assume my document's finished, and I'm going to add a references page. So at this point, I enter a page break, and if you remember from my previous videos, on a Mac, that keystroke I just executed is Command Return. On a Windows computer, it would be Control Enter. That prematurely breaks the line of type and starts a new page. Type references, press Enter. I left aligned my insertion point with Command L on a Windows computer. Control L will go to left alignment. And here, still using my Zotero menu, I add a bibliography. Now, this looks at first glance like a properly formatted APA style reference. It has the authors listed, the title of the article, the title of the journal in italic, the volume in italic, issue, page range, and the DOI. But there's one typographic error, and that is in the title of the article, the S of security should not be capitalized. And that's because in my Zotero database, I have two copies of this data security article, one of which is properly capitalized in APA style, the other is not. So what I want to do is I'm going to delete the one I don't need. I'll move it to the trash of Zotero. I'll fix the title in the incorrectly typed article. And the easiest way to do that is to right-click and choose Sentence Case. Now, when I go back to my Microsoft Word document, I can refresh the document. Now, keep your eye on this word security. When I refresh the Word document, which tells Word, go back to Zotero, get the most current data, and bring that data into Word, Word becomes updated with the correct capitalization of the article name. And what I'm left with is an APA-style citation with its complementary APA-style reference entry. Now, here's a real cool trick. Assume I type another sentence. So here, with this random text, I'm just going to pretend. I'm going to add another citation. And in this case, I'm going to insert the citation at the end of the second sentence. And I want it to be I want my source to have been written by an author whose last name comes alphabetically before Denning. So I'm pretty sure in my database I have an article written by maybe an Abbott. So I'll search for Abbott, and sure enough, I found one by Bordens and Abbott. B also comes before D, so this will work for my point. Now there's a citation to the Denning and Denning article. There's a citation to the Bordens and Abbott article. But look at my references list. Not just did Bordens and Abbott appear on the references list, but they appeared alphabetically before the Denning and Denning article, which is what I would want. B comes before D. And I can add more citations. If I had one to someone named Collins with a C, then the references list would be Bordens, and then Collins, and then the Denning article. So Zotero is really kind of smart, and it can help us save a lot of time. But maybe most important is what happens when we're editing our work. So if I remove the first sentence from my document, including removing the Denning and Denning reference citation, I'm left with a document that only cites Bordens and Abbott. If I refresh the document, my references list updates, and I'm left with only Bordens and Abbott on the list. So Zotero can help us during the editing process when we choose to delete work that we drafted but isn't going to make the final cut. I alleviate the problem of deleting a citation and forgetting to delete its complementary reference entry. I hope this short video was helpful, and honestly, I would like to persuade you to explore using Zotero with Microsoft Word yourself. I've found it to be a great time saver, and it has helped me not make many mistakes in my own formal writing. So not only does it make things easier, it saves me time, and quite honestly, it saves me from potential embarrassment if I were to make a significant error in the citations within one of my documents. Until next time, I wish you very happy academic writing.